Hello everybody, welcome to Critical Chat, where I chat about the most critical of gaming news. I'm your host, Dylan Cash, and today it's all about Xbox. We're going to be talking about the Inside Xbox, where next-gen gameplay was revealed. So without further ado, let's talk about video games. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Inside Xbox. At the point of recording this, it was just yesterday. Just yesterday, we saw next-gen gameplay. I'm not in the camp of pure disappointment. I don't hate this show. I thought that there were a lot of really cool-looking games that were shown off. A lot of games that were sort of out of left field, a lot of developers that were out in left field, and just a lot of really cool surprises and games to definitely keep an eye out for. But, however, the way Microsoft advertised this event, the way Phil Spencer advertised this event, the way Ubisoft, the lead director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, hyped up this event, I was left assuming that we were going to see a lot of gameplay. Or at least some gameplay. We hardly see any actual gameplay. Now, a lot of the trailers, I believe all of the trailers were in-game, in-engine, but it wasn't exactly a dude playing the game. It wasn't exactly a demonstration of what next-gen hardware can bring to these titles. I didn't really get that vibe at all with any of the games that were shown. There's a couple. There's a couple I do want to mention for sure, but in terms of every single game that they've shown, I don't know why I'm looking forward to Series X. I don't know why I should be looking forward to Series X. And I think, in the grand scheme of things, this is a very bad show. Now, again, I'm not disappointed. I like a lot of these games, but in terms of pushing new hardware, I don't think that they did a very good job, and that hurts. It hurts to say that, but it's the truth. Why do I need to buy a Series X when every single one of these games are going to be for a previous generation, this current generation? How do I get excited for that? And not only that, you don't demonstrate what exactly these games are taking advantage of in terms of the new hardware. What exactly am I getting out of this game playing it on Series X? I'm assuming that Series X is at the very least going to be $400. Why would I drop that much on the game when I can play it basically for free on Games Pass on the Xbox One or even Windows with some games? So, I don't know. I'm definitely left with sort of a bad taste there. But again, there were some really, really cool looking games, so I don't know, it's hard. I'm in a tough place right now. I'm really trying to figure this thing out, and I'm really curious. Literally at the beginning of the show, at the very beginning of Inside Xbox, they say that we're going to have another event in July where we show off First Party, where we show off Halo and all of these other developers that are working on these fantastic games, and look forward to it. It's like they basically said, hey, this show is gonna kind of suck, but don't worry, we got the big one, the one that you're actually looking forward to coming in a couple of months. And I don't know, just a weird tone to sort of start the show. I'm definitely looking forward to July. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more Halo Infinite, but I don't know, I just really weird mixed messaging there. Now, as I mentioned, there were some pretty cool games that were shown off during this presentation, and I want to take the time to talk about a couple of them. First things first, and I'm gonna have to read this name because, full disclosure, a lot of the titles that were shown, titles were just terrible, absolutely terrible. The names of these games, just what's going on? The first game I want to talk about is actually the first game that was shown, and that is Bright Memory Infinite. Now, in my opinion, to me, this is the one game that they showed that actually sort of demonstrated what next gen can do. The weather effects that were at play, the water effects, the combat, like it looked sort of kind of next gen. It looked like something that might not be possible, or at least might not be possible in terms of fidelity on current gen. And hats off to this developer because it is developed by a single person. This game is made by one guy, and that is ridiculous that one person can demonstrate the power of next gen more than any of these other studios, more than Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, more than Bandai Namco with the most anime game that has ever animated. It's so crazy to me that this is the first game that they show, they set that tone, and then you find out it's just one person, then you look at all the other games and you're kind of scratching at your head a little bit, like what's going on? So this game looks sick. I'm not even gonna lie, it looks sick. I don't know anything about it. Aside from it's being made by one person, I like the way the combat looks. I like how we're jumping around. It's like I'm getting Titanfall vibes and getting Doom vibes and getting some RPG vibes with some of the abilities. It looks sick. I won't lie to you. It's probably the game I'm most excited for out of this entire show. Maybe. We got another one to talk about, but just hats off, man. Seriously, this developer, I am very, very impressed. The next game I want to talk about is probably one of the most impressive games, probably the most impressive game at this entire show. Not in terms of taking advantage of next-gen hardware, but just in concept and the actual game itself, and that is The Medium, developed by Blooper. I was very impressed. It's essentially a new Silent Hill game, going as far as grabbing the original composer, Akira Yamaoka, and you get those vibes right off the bat as well. That guitar shredding in, like, yeah, that's Yamaoka. That's what he does so well. I loved this trailer so much, and we even got some sort of kind of details on sort of the game. Essentially, you are a medium in this game, and you're able to go between two different realities, our reality and the spirit world, I guess. And they kind of demonstrate that. We see this sort of wave go across the screen, and we see like another world just being created before our eyes, and that's apparently taking advantage of next-gen hardware. That's the power of Xbox Series X, and that's kind of cool. That's like one of the only games that sort of got that demonstration. It literally is the only game that got that demonstration. Little clips of gameplay. It's third person. I think there might be combat. It looks really, really cool. I'm really excited for this game. Out of everything, it's probably my most looked forward to project. Just in terms of, again, concept and just the gameplay itself and what's being promised there. I think it can be something really, really special. Hopefully it comes out this year. I don't know if there's details on the release date itself. Fingers crossed. There's some really cool looking key art. My God, this looks cool. I love this game. I love the way this game looks. I love what they're trying to do here, and I think it can be pulled off for sure. As I mentioned, there were a lot of cool games shown, and not just those two. There was another game that was like basically online Turok. I think it was called Second Extinction. We're just shredding away at dinos. That's kind of cool. The Ascent, which is like a twin stick top-down shooter. Looks super, super cool. Definitely some awesome lighting effects there. You can tell that some hard work is being put into that. It's not just a twin stick shooter. Interesting world, interesting concept. And of course there is that Bandai Namco game, the anime game, something Nexus. I'm not even going to bother looking it up. Kind of impressed with that. I don't know. It's hard. It's honestly hard to get excited for that game. But all in all, again, there were a lot of really cool games shown. Just not in the way that I wanted them to be shown. I wanted just to see a dude sitting there playing a game, or just like a 2-3 minute gameplay demo with some narration over it. Like, this is next gen. Like, oh, you see that thing going across the screen and you're entering a new plane of existence. That's the power of Series X, and I want to see these developers show off the game in that capacity, and that's what I was expecting. That's what Microsoft led us all to believe, and yeah, again, I'm left with disappointment. Now, sort of jumping in the rumor mill here, take this stuff with a grain of salt, but apparently there is a PlayStation event happening soon. I think the date that everyone's talking about right now in terms of a rumor is June 4th. It's possible. It's probably going to happen soon. I would think that they would probably do it after The Last of Us, or even after Ghost of Tsushima, which is in July, but maybe not. Maybe they want to, get a step above the competition. It's not going to be that hard, to be honest with you. And that's sort of what I wanted to talk about here is, what does this sort of say about Sony and how they're going to tackle this? Are they just going to go straight first party? Let's do this. Like, let's just show off all these awesome games. Horizon 2, maybe a tease of Spider-Man 2, let's just go for it, Or are they going to do a similar thing where like, oh, well, here is a teaser for Resident Evil 8 coming out next year. Here is a teaser of this weird game and that weird game. Maybe Call of Duty. That's a huge possibility. Usually around this time, we know of the next Call of Duty already or have seen something of it. We have not yet. So that would sort of be the perfect timing there, I think. I don't know. I don't know how it goes. I honestly think that Microsoft should have thrown these games in with their first party stuff in July. I think that we should have seen all of this in one show. Give me like 90 minutes of information. Let's see Halo, let's see The Medium, mix these games together, and actually just sort of have a little press conference. In terms of how the show was presented, I liked it. I liked the beginning. I liked that monologue. I liked seeing these developers. I liked it. There was just trailer, trailer, trailer. Here's a little speech. Trailer, 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 trailer. Here's a little speech. That's okay. I think that they definitely set a precedent in terms of how to do this. I thought that how they structured the show was, in other words, great. I think it worked, and I hope that Sony does sort of emulate that in a sense, because I don't want just like a cold sort of no personality state of play where it's just like, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game. Look forward to them. That's the end of the show. Thank you guys. Like, yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. But, you know, I do want to see Herman Holst, you know, speak and talk about this kind of stuff. And I mean, that's the thing. We haven't even seen PS5 yet. We don't even know what the console looks like. So they're in a different place for sure. They definitely have some, I don't want to say catching up to do, but there's other things that I think need to be attended to before they start showing off brand new games, especially first-party games. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. This next segment I like to call EA Still Trying? Wow. Yes, EA is still trying. They are going to have their annual EA Play. I don't know what's going to be there. It's June 11th. It's where it would have been if E3 still existed. It's hard to be excited. I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of sports games, obviously. We barely saw any of that new Madden game during this presentation. We saw, you know, a lot of talk and a big montage, and that was cool and all. You know, I like that. I like Mahomes, but it's kind of a weird way to structure a reveal for a game. So I'm guessing we're definitely going to be seeing that during EA Play. Maybe Battlefield, maybe they show that off, maybe they tease some other Star Wars game they're working on. There's been some rumors going around about that too. They're working on some like smaller Star Wars projects. Maybe they tease a Jedi sequel. I don't know. Again, it's hard to look forward to it. Last year was just pitiful, absolutely pitiful in terms of a presence at E3 the year before. That was sort of whack as well. EA has never done well at E3. Maybe this EA Play will help them. Maybe that this will sort of, I don't know, like, let's just try, you know? And that's the segment, right? EA, you're still trying. Wow, that's basically it. The next and final segment of the show, critical questions. I have one question. Thank you so much, Neko-chan, for asking a question. You have created this segment. And the question is, what are your thoughts on Watch Dogs Legion? Very positive. This game looks fantastic. It was shown off last year at E3. It looks great. I wasn't super interested in Watch Dogs 2 or 1. This definitely has sparked interest. I want to play this game. I want to buy this game. They sort of sold me at last year's E3, and that's not easy to do in terms of, you know, big open world sandbox kind of games. There's a lot out there, and Watch Dogs has never sort of piqued my interest, but they did it with Watch Dogs Legion. It looks really, really cool. However, Ubisoft has sort of had some trouble the last year with The Division 2 and especially Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Those games did not do well in terms of sales. Ghost Recon Breakpoint was panned, essentially. It is a sort of broken game in some parts. There's a lot of just missed opportunities. There's a lot of problems with Ghost Recon. And so much so that Ubisoft literally came out. Also, the Far Cry game didn't do very well either. Ubisoft came out, and Yves Guillemot, I believe, said that we are reevaluating everything. Everything. Every one of our games, our next year's slate, pushed back indefinitely. And that's almost unprecedented. That hardly ever happens. I think like Nintendo with Metroid Prime 4. That's a huge deal for a big developer, publisher, to do something of that scale. And it was definitely disappointing because they showed off another game at last year's E3 called Gods and Monsters. It's like this cool looking Breath of the Wild game. We got some old AC developers working on it, which is really, really cool. I love the old AC games. And it's going to be this big open world game, cartoony graphics. Sweet. That was supposed to come out in February. And they had a box art and everything. People pre-ordered the game, I believe. But then it came around like November, and the game didn't exist yet. We haven't seen gameplay. We haven't seen anything of that game. We don't even know what that game is. And that's when we started realizing what's going on. And then Ubisoft made that announcement. They pushed back everything, including Watch Dogs, including Assassin's Creed, I believe. And again, like that's tough. It's really difficult to do such a thing. But at the same time, it's extremely smart, especially considering the circumstances now and what's going on with the world right now, and how a lot of big publishers are pushing back their games indefinitely. It sucks, but it's necessary. They listened to the fans' criticism. They said, hey, you don't like these games. Our next couple of games do similar things. Let's fix that. I don't know how much is going to be fixed. I don't know what this new Ubisoft initiative looks like. But just all in all, that's exciting to me. I think, again, it's unprecedented and it's exciting. So Ubisoft does have a big event happening this summer. It's sort of going to be their E3 press conference, basically, where they do show off some games. I'm assuming a lot more Assassin's Creed because, honestly, that was probably the most disappointing thing of Inside Xbox. I feel like we saw Assassin's Creed the least out of everything they've shown, and that was like the big tentpole. That was what they were hyping up towards the end of the show. They're going to show off more Valhalla, which I'm excited for. I want to see more of that game. And I'm assuming that they're going to show off Watch Dogs, which I believe was supposed to be out by now, and Gods and Monsters, which was supposed to be out months ago. I have to believe that they have some sort of frame of mind of what those games look like today. Watch Dogs looked well into development when we saw it last year. It looked like it was ready to go. It was coming out in spring. Like, let's do this. Let's get it going. So I'm assuming that game is well into development and well, hopefully tracking well. Hopefully that game is ready to launch. I'm not going to say it's going to be coming out this year. I don't think they're going to have Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and Gods and Monsters and whatever else they're working on. I don't think these games are going to be lining up and coming out this year. It's too late now. But they definitely have a chance to be popping on PS5 and Series X come this time next year, come spring, come February, maybe just push back a year, you know? That kind of stuff happens. It sucks, but honestly, I'm happy. I'm happy that Ubisoft listened to their fans. I'm happy that Ubisoft took that initiative. Again, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. We shall see. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for Ubisoft as a publisher. We haven't seen Beyond Good and Evil 2 in like 2.5 years, and that's insane. That's really insane. I don't know when that game's coming out. They have some stuff to show off for sure that people are very much excited for. Maybe a new Rayman game. Ubisoft is probably one of my favorite, like, bigger publishers out there. You know, talking about EA or Activision or, you know, all of these big, huge companies. Ubisoft's one of my favorite. They've always, I think, made the better games, to be honest, and also just their sort of language about this stuff during press conferences, their talk, their language, and how they present the games. I've always been sort of impressed, and I've always sort of had a soft spot for Ubisoft, even though I don't play any of their games. Maybe Assassin's Creed Valhalla, maybe, again, Watch Dogs Legion. Hopefully we see those games soon, but I'm definitely going to give them the benefit of the doubt and just hope. Just hope that everything works out for them, and I hope that we get these games soon. So yeah, that's going to be it for the show. Make sure to comment down below if you want to contribute to this segment next week. I will be taking more questions, hopefully more than just one question. So again, comment below, shoot me a question, and it will make it on the show. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate this viewership. Thank you for getting through this video. I'm working on some new editing techniques. This show is going to be something special. Might not be there yet, but it will be something big, hopefully, in the future. But your support is the start of all of it. So thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more editions of Critical Chat, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I also do other gaming related content every now and then, an anime video or two. And also follow me on Twitch for streams. I'm currently streaming Pokemon Sword. We're about to beat that game. But then after that, we are playing The Last of Us for the very first time, which is going to be a very big deal because I'm a huge Naughty Dog fan and I've never played The Last of Us for some reason, so you might want to be there for that. It's going to be a good time. You know, Twitter, all that stuff where you get updates on when I'm streaming or when I'm going to be uploading a video. So yeah, thank you so much again for watching, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye. Time for a bonus round. Animal Crossing is a ridiculous success. Astronomical. Wow. Apparently, I think it's at 16.5 million copies sold right now, which is, again, insane. Apparently, those 11-day sales, it made 11 million in 11 days. That was Nintendo's lifetime expectation of that game. They assumed that that's how much the game would have made in its entire lifetime, talking at least 4 or 5 years, which is usually a game's lifetime. That's ridiculous that they made that back that quickly. So Nintendo stocks are way up there, and everyone is happy. Everyone's sort of happy about Animal Crossing right now. I stopped playing the game, not because it's a bad game, but just stopped kind of caring, I guess. I wasn't really interested in how the game was structured and what the game was telling me to do, but it's extremely impressive. It really is. I think that, obviously, considering our circumstances, it was sort of the perfect game at the perfect time, but I honestly think it's more than that. I really do. I think it's more than just that. I think that if this virus, if this pandemic wasn't happening, I think this game still would have been a huge success. Maybe not as much, maybe not 11 million in 11 days, maybe not 16.5 million, but definitely, not too far down. I think that the way this game was marketed, and I mean, even just every single trailer they showed before this game, everybody was hyping it up. Everyone was excited. This was a big deal before it even released. I don't think it's just because of what's going on in the world right now. I do believe that Nintendo struck gold with the idea of the game at all. I think that this is a very important franchise to them. I think it's going to be continuously a very important franchise for them. And I'm excited to see the future of Animal Crossing makes. I'm excited to see more expansions. Maybe eventually I will come back to New Horizons. I don't know. But all in all, that is hats off to Nintendo. Good job. For real, good job.